Well, today is Tuesday, April 24th, 2012, and we are interviewing Lee Wagner at the Illinois State Library. Lee is 36 years old, having been born on 3/13/76. My name is Sue Burkholder, and I will be the interviewer. Lee, could you please state for the recording in what war and branch of service that you served?
I served in the United States Army. My branch, my war was Operation Iraqi Freedom, 2005-2006.
Good. And what rank did you achieve while you were in?
While I was in Iraq,
What was your final rank?
my final rank was E5 Sergeant.
Okay. All right. And did you serve anywhere else besides Iraq? Like before you went, or?
No.
No. Okay. All right. All right. And during your time in, what was your job or your assignment?
I was an infantryman. I was mostly assigned to a team on a weapons squad. That varied between automatic rifleman to machine gunner, whatever was needed.
What about you want to share some of your memorable experiences from the time you were in, just about anything about, the day-to-day things, or when you were out on a job or an assignment, or whatever.
Most memorable, obviously, is my tour to Iraq. The time spent training for it. I was new to the unit. I was actually transferred from a local unit for myself to the unit I was assigned to, Bravo Company, 2nd 130th, in Effingham. And we left there January 5th of 05, and we transferred into 3rd Infantry Division, Fort Stewart, Georgia. We spent quite a few months there. All we did was train, which was preferable. We're about to go somewhere hot and heavy, and training needed to be done. And they were very adamant about it, and very strict about it, and I'm very thankful to this day for it. At the time, it wasn't feeling so good, but to this day, I'm very thankful for it. So with that, we did a month-long training stint in California, in the hills and mountains and deserts. When that was all finished, we were certified to deploy. We deployed out, and I believe that was beginning of May of 05, and we spent about 3 weeks in Kuwait, and quite desolate out there. Beautiful country. The locals, they definitely know how to take care of their country and their areas, and very cordial. And, so yeah, from Kuwait, we drove into Baghdad. And that was about a 3-day trip. So we had quite a scary experience when we were almost to our destination at a buyout Baghdad airport. And middle of the night, we had to stop our convoy because the people that collected us at our last stop point to escort us in, they found an IED under the overpass we were about to go under. So that was, I have to say, that was quite possibly our very first genuine combat experience. Information we got, there were snipers off somewhere, and it's pitch black out. We got night vision, and that's about it. But so they called the EOD and the explosive demos, and they came in and detonated. It was artillery rounds, and so we're sitting in our vehicles, and they're communicating with everybody on the radio, and they're doing a countdown, 3, 2, 1. and they detonated, and just the concussion of the blast. It was just phenomenal. You know, all the dust, every speck of dust that truck could collect, you know, rained on us, and you know, you felt it in your body, and I sat right there and I prayed that nobody ever gets any closer to one of those, because when we stopped, we had to back up to our minimum distance, which is 300 meters away, and yeah, it was quite impressive. So, yeah.
I almost hate to turn a corner there, but the next set of questions I have is about just things that you did with, you know, your buddies, just something unusual, humorous, you know, the interaction, maybe even pranks or, you know, things like that. How was your daily life, interacting with your friends, that type of thing? And I'm sure you have stories to tell about that.
Yeah, things have changed over the years in the military life. I can't imagine what was done for fun during, you know, Vietnam, during Korea. They have things set up now. They're just great. They've got MWRs. You know, in those they've got libraries, movies, video games, computers you can get online, phones, pool tables, pretty much name it. It's there, readily available for you when you have time off. So a lot of times we'd get together and shoot a lot of pool, and I know I wasn't the only one. It was quite different for most of us, because most of us, the more we drink beer, the better we can shoot our pool. We can't drink over there, so obviously we're shooting horrible. Yeah, we heard rumor that there were some, I guess, lack of terms, of public pool somewhere on post. We could never find it. Apparently somebody's found it, or else it won't be a story. But no, we'd go to the gym, we'd work out, go for runs, and some of us bought bicycles, you know, so we can get around faster. Yeah, we just made do with our time. One group of guys, and I could not get into it, but they had idol night. These guys, they'd get together in their rooms and they'd watch Idol. Then they'd perform their own rendition of Idol. I don't know how that really went, but I understand they all had a good time with it. So there was fun to be had. You had to find it. You had to make it fun, but it was there.
How was it, you know, being so far from your family? I know for you it was a lot different from some of the previous veterans who are from like World War II and even Vietnam, but how is it staying in touch with your family?
Compared to those times, it's a lot easier. You know, at the MWR centers, you know, they've got the internet, they've got phones that you can use. A group of us paid into satellite internet. So we had internet cables strung like spider webs everywhere. They weren't worth much for trying to download movies or a bunch of music or anything, but to be able to get online and search and, you know, chat or email, and yeah, it was fairly easy. The downside to it is if there was an incident out in sector somewhere, and there happened to be a casualty, they'd shut everything down until they notified families and next of kin, and so that could take weeks. So, but I was told my wife and my other friends and families, you know, no news is good news. As soon as I'm able to, I'll say hi. So, and of course, you know, there's always the old handwritten letter. That's always a plus, and people always appreciated those. So, yeah, but in a nutshell, it is very easy to contact family and friends.
Was there any, know if you are into superstition or luck, but is there anything that you would do or something special that you carried with you for good luck?
Absolutely. My uncle, he's a police officer in Corpus Christi, Texas. He's always carried around a St. Michael's coin, and he gave that to me before I left. And obviously, I made it home, and I went to give it back to him, and he wouldn't take it. He said, "Pass it on," and I did. And a friend brought it back home to me, and I told him to pass it on. So, oh yes.
Good.
I believe there was an angel on every one of our shoulders the whole time. So.
What about, well, how was the food? That's always a question we want to know about. How was the food while you were there?
Well, obviously, as far as MREs go, they've improved over the years. But from the dining facility, it wasn't 5-star material, but it was pretty good. Quite the selection of food. Where we were at, we didn't have our own military families preparing meals for us. They had contractors, and they came in. I think they did a fantastic job. You know, of course, not everything's going to suit everybody, but I've never seen so many steak and lobster nights. Yeah. But then we were in the Taj Mahal of chow halls in all of Iraq, I guess. It was quite the talk. I mean, I could probably talk to people in Texas or Alaska that have been to where I was, and they're like, "Oh, that chow hall." So they had quite a bit of food, quite a bit of selection. You know, it just, I don't know. It was almost a smorgasbord, so to speak, and they had almost anything you could think of. They had it. So if you went hungry, blame yourself, really. So.
Nice. When you did have leave, what did you do? I don't know while you were there if you were able to leave or if you came, if it was more coming back to the States or what. But what would you do?
Yeah, we were granted 15 days leave, and had all be scheduled. I came home, and my time home wasn't the greatest. I had a family funeral to go to. Had to help my wife a lot. Soon after I deployed, she fell and destroyed her ankle, so she was still laid up from that. Of course, I had my kids. I've got 2 daughters. It was hard leaving them again, but I had to. It was hard. It was hard for me to come home. It really was. As much as I wanted to come home, I knew once I was home, I wouldn't want to go back. But on the flip side of that, I had to go back. I felt, what if something happened and it was because I wasn't there? Or, what am I missing? And, they find something newsworthy maybe, or, So I was a little mixed between going home and going back and staying home, but ultimately I went back and right back into work.
So again, on your daily duties, I know you talked about coming in on the convoy, but just your day-to-day, what was a day-to-day routine for you, I guess is what I want to ask.
Well, for my deployment, I was the platoon's radio operator. I worked directly with the lieutenant, so anytime he had meetings with intel or whatever, I guess I didn't have to be, but he wanted me there with him. I helped take notes and whatnot, and I don't know, him and I really got along. Him and everyone else, not so much. But I did a lot for him. I helped him prep all of his operations orders for the platoon. I did a lot of self-training for the radio communication systems because I've always been a firm believer of knowledge is power, and you got to be able to talk to people. So when I wasn't working, yeah, I slept when I could, watched movies, ate, worked out. But as far as working on the actual job, I was always with the lieutenant, or if he wasn't there, I was with our platoon sergeant. I was always right there, right by their side or right behind them, whatever they needed. So it was rewarding to me to feel needed. Probably not wanted, definitely needed.
Did you make many close friendships while you were there that have maybe lasted?
No.
No.
The reason being, I didn't really know what to expect going into it, except I expected to not come home. I was a full-time mechanic. I had tens of thousands of dollars worth of tools that I got rid of, gave it away. I was not expecting to come home alive. So while over there, I personally made the connections I needed to for the job, unfortunately. I didn't want to be close. I didn't want to have to. I didn't want to have to deal with that the closure if something happened to a best friend, and I didn't want anybody to have to deal with that with me as well. So I had friends, but I wasn't immensely close, and I'm not in touch with anybody to this day.
Would you do it different if you went in now?
Absolutely.
So were you in combat situations? I mean, you talked about being around, so you went out and were in.
Absolutely.
And how was that for you?
Nerve-wracking, scary, terrifying. Yeah, all the time. It seemed that every day something was happening. So we were more of a police force. Was our main role over there. And there's still a lot of debate about that to this day. Not just our group, but several. But yeah, we never hesitated to go out in sector. We mostly worked at night. We'd go out after our evening meal, and we'd come back sometime after breakfast, something like that. So we were out for quite a while in the dark. A lot of times we got held over through midday. It's just one of those things you just do what you have to do. But yeah, we of course we're shot at, IEDs, rockets shoot over my hood of my vehicle. Yeah, that was a treat. Vehicle rollovers. Yeah. I liked the most was interacting with the locals, though. Our unit really gained a positive reputation with the locals for treating them like people, treating them with respect. So yeah, that as far as that goes, that was great. That was great to know you can pretty much walk up to anybody and maybe strike up a conversation. Most times not, but sometimes yeah. And it's not like they always give us information, but they just want to talk, and we try to make a little time for them. So, but yeah, other times we went the deep in the dark. Yeah, we got into heavy stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there many casualties in your unit?
Absolutely not. No, and I So I'm a firm believer in the training that we did, nonstop training prior to flying over. We had some injuries, obviously, but yeah, nothing horrific. Everybody, the whole unit, just did what they were trained to do, and it was great. It was great. It was a sense of accomplishment to be able to go home the way that we did with everybody. I guess minus one. Early on, we had a suicide, a young kid. Still don't know what the details were on that, but yeah. And I think a lot of us, pretty much said there's nothing worth doing that. And but yeah. No real casualties, which was great.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
It is.
It's good to hear. Did you, or were you awarded any medals or citations or of any kind while you were there, or just in the Army in general?
Yeah, I was actually. I was quite surprised because my team leader and I did not see eye to eye at all, and he submitted me for an award for Army Achievement Medal for using my radio. I don't recall exactly what the comments were for it in his recommendation, but it was, in a nutshell, my use of the radio and training and lugging that thing around, and yeah, that was presented to me when we were in California, and then in Iraq, in country, got a Army Commendation Medal, ARCOM, for again my communication, use of the radio equipment, everything I've done with that. Really pride myself with it. The one I'm most proud of is my Combat Instruments badge. A buddy of mine calls it a free IV, and I can't get on him a little bit about that, because he'll never earn one. He's not infantry. He's been deployed. He's earned a Combat Action badge. Only infantry is awarded this that is in direct or indirect combat, and it's a privilege to me. So I display it proudly.
And you should. You should. How did your military experience influence your thinking about the war or military in general? Did it change drastically while you were in and going through your, having gone through the experiences now that you're out?
Well, before I actually deployed, and all this was going on, I think I was pretty much like any other American, pretty upset at the situation, upset with the people, the countries. I didn't personally agree with our initial reason of going over there with the weapons of mass destruction. But you get called up. You have a job to do. You go do it. Agree with it or don't agree with it. But talking with some people who have never been in the military can't understand why we're over there, and so I try to explain to them the exact reasons why we're over there. Who really knows? But do you want to take the fight to them, or do you want it in your yard? I don't want it in my yard. If it's going to happen, obviously it has, and it still is. Take it to their house, not mine. And let everyone else at home continue to defend home. We'll defend home from over there. So I don't know if that gets through to anybody. I don't know, but my personal belief.
Well, In the immediate days and weeks after your service ended, I know you were injured, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, a couple of things. I'd injured my lower legs. Um, I didn't break or anything. It sure felt like it. Uh, at night, we turned down this one road. At this point in our deployment, our area was pretty much wide open desert and hills and stuff like that. It was actually in the area of Uday Hussein's house, his disco club, and his Grand Hotel. It's quite interesting. I've got a piece of marble in my living room from his house. But we turned to go down this road to go towards that area. And I always sat in the passenger rear seat. And there was a big dirt berm that was out in the middle of the street that wasn't there before. And we were just going and going because we don't have any headlights on or anything like that. And you can only really see so far in night vision. And we just ran straight into that. And behind the passenger seat, there's a big steel bar that goes across. And I hit my legs on that. I smashed my weapon against my night vision, broke them out for that, and it took me a lot to emotionally recover from that. I was just so angry that that was there. Why was that there in the road? And I had to get out of the vehicle and walk it off. The pain that I had. And I mean, anything could have happened at that point, because who knows why that berm was there. I just didn't care. My legs hurt so bad. I had to walk. So I do suffer from that. I can't walk too far, too long. It really tightens up on me. I'd injured my back carrying the radio, crossing over a fence. Our whole group were passing from one yard to another yard. It was a big like a date grove or a palm grove, and the fence. It was about a 6-foot chain link fence, and by the time it was my turn to climb on it, it had become quite wobbly, and I got to a point, and I went to step down over it, and I just kind of springboarded off, and I'd landed on my hands and knees, and the radio just put all its weight down my back. And although I had body armor on and ceramic plate in the bag, it still really got me. So I toughened out that day. I think it was the next couple of days. I finally saw the medics. I couldn't take it anymore, and they pulled me off work for 30 days. Couldn't find anything in the X-rays. To this day, they can't find anything. Like going through the VAs, they can't find anything. So every day it's ibuprofen and other pain meds. So.
Well, since your service, since you've been out, what have you been doing?
I've been trying to find stable work. Although I've been doing good the last year, I've been in the same place for 1 year, as of tomorrow. But it's been difficult for me to hold a job. My beliefs are, because I've been involved with the military since I was 17 years old. I've been pretty much grown and lived a military lifestyle, and I have a military mindset. And it affects me at work when I deal with a lot of civilians that don't have that mindset. It's definitely a conflict. And it's up. I'm the one showing the door. But things are going real good now. when you're in. So.
Have you been involved with any veterans organizations or doing any work with that?
Yes, I'm a life member of the Disabled American Veterans. I'm a junior vice commander of our Peoria, Illinois Chapter 1. I'm also involved with Motorcycle Club, Brothers in Arms Motorcycle Club. We're all military and veterans. Both organizations are great, and I don't know what I'd do without either one of them. So very proud to be involved with both of those.
And what kinds of things do you do as part of those organizations?
Well, with the DAV, like today I did color guard at the baseball game. We do small fundraisers. We do. We're in a connection with Golden Corral in Peoria. They have on Veterans Day, all veterans eat free, and we provide presents for the DAV. We talk to other veterans there, and we share stories. Because not all veterans want to share their stories with non-veterans. So when we get some of these, and I'll call them old timers, kind of tell them the way things have been going for us, our conditions, and compared to their conditions that they had. And of course, they're jealous of how easy we're able to communicate back home. And, actually, I believe they're jealous of a lot of things. But I tell you, those guys are the real heroes to me. The older vets, they went and faced something that hopefully we'll never see in our lifetimes, and they survived and they made it home. They're my true heroes. So.
Very good. How long have you been out of the service now?
My discharge date was January 1st of 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
So just a few years. Have you had any reunions or had any kind of those type of things with, any, I don't know, your unit or anything from when you were in?
Yeah, no, I haven't, no.
Well, is there anything else that, like any last comments or anything you can think of that you would like to share or say to those who someday will be viewing this video file?
Kind of on the spot. No, just honor and respect your veterans. They've been to hell and back, regardless of their job. They signed their name. They've made a commitment to defend our country against all enemies, and it's a time-honored commitment. And respect. Thank every vet you meet.
Well, I do want to thank you, Lee, for your time, for coming here and agreeing to be interviewed, and we do thank you for your service.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And enjoyed talking to you.
You too. Thank you.